So today is December 8th. You're here for Econ 249, and it's your last class for the semester. What you're looking at is a flyer about a recruitment fair, and it is tomorrow from 2 to 3:30. In order to attend this job fair, you need to RSVP, and I've put in the chat box the link to RSVP, and it's open to everyone, not just students, because it's held by the Office of the Queen's Borough President. So it's open to full-time employment, part-time, and as you can see, it's all kinds of industries, and it's not just for recent graduates, right? So you can pass on this to your friends and family, anyone who's looking for a job. But it's a very short time period. It's only open from 2 to 3:30, and you won't be able to attend unless you RSVP. In today's class, like I said, it's our last class. So we're going to do a review. Now I'm going to put in the chat box, give me a moment here, let me type it in. I want to confirm everything before I put it in the chat box. Okay, so I've put in the chat box that your final exam is on December 17th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And these are the chapters that I'm going to cover for the final exam. So I'm going to start at the bottom first. Chapter 12 is your hypothesis testing, and that we just covered in the last few lectures, so I will not do a review on hypothesis test today. Chapter 11 is about confidence intervals. In fact, chapter 10 and 11 I put together, and they're both about confidence intervals. So when you're practicing homework, 10 and 11 is really together, because one is about confidence interval for mean and the other is confidence interval for proportion. So it's really not everything in chapter 11. It's incorporated into it in my lecture for chapter 11. So we will do a few problems today based on all this. And then chapter 5 is about general probability distribution. Chapter 6 is about binomial and Poisson, and chapter 7 is about the normal distribution. So I have to test you on probability as well, because if you take Economics 382 or econometrics, they will start with probability and hypothesis testing. So you need to have a good grasp of probability by the time you end this course. So that's why I will be putting chapters 5, 6, and 7 in the final exam. So just to clarify, for the rest of the class today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break you up into groups. We're going to have 8 different groups, and each of the groups will have a problem assigned to them. So I'm going to give you a Google Doc where you can work on it together, and the idea is learn from each other, right? You don't have to have everything perfectly accurate. If you don't understand something, I'm here to walk you through it, but it's going to take a while for me to set you up in groups, then for me to individually go to each group, give you the Google document with the problem to work on, and then go back to each group to find out if you need assistance. And then I will bring you back to the main room so you can discuss how you solve the problem. Now, each group will have a problem from these chapters, except chapter 12, which is hypothesis testing, and we just covered that. Okay, so the problems that I give you are very typical to the problems that you're going to get for the final exam. After class today, I will send out a copy of the problems that you worked on so that you know to use that as a reference when you're studying for the final exam. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Because, so Urmila, your question is how many questions for the final exam? Okay, at this point, I can't really tell you a set number of questions, because if I say 5 questions, well, it's 5 questions, but each one has many different parts to it, like your homework, right? So what I can tell you is it's not going to be similar to the second exam where you had to show your work, because I feel that might have taken too much time into trying to draw and write onto the screen. So instead, you're going to have problems that you have to either type in your answer or select from a choice of answers. So the final exam, you can access the same place like you do the rest of your tests through MyLab. And you will have enough time to complete all the questions, but you won't have time to search for the answer, because once you start doing that, you're going to waste time and you won't have time to complete the number of questions that are assigned to you. So be very careful with your time management and practice how to read the table, how to get the z-value, the t-value, the p-value before the test. Rad, you have a question. Will the questions in the exam be similar to the ones we'll be working on now? Yes, very similar to the ones you're working on now. Okay, so again, if you just joined us, I'm going to separate you into groups, and you're going to work with your group on the problem that is assigned. If you don't hear from me for a while, just be patient, because I have to put myself virtually into each room and then come back to your group again to ask you if you have questions. Okay, so one more question. Arzu, you say, do we still need to be on a Zoom call for the final exam? So the answer is no. I will not be sending you a Zoom link to turn your camera on. Okay, you do not need to do that. Okay, so bear with me till I put you in groups. Any other questions? Does everyone understand what needs to be done today? Okay. So I will see you in a moment.